Hey friends, welcome to my Tuesday to Go class on Facebook Live. Today is Tuesday, May 13th. It's 2 p.m. I am April Davis with April Davis Creations, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Spring Hill, Kansas. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. If you are joining me live, please do say hello. I've got my comments up so I can see your comments. If you're following me later and you're catching the replay, say hello as well. I love hearing from you. And that's where I'm going to get started. So much to talk about today, as always. So I want to do my updates to start. And my first update is, let me get my right screen up, is I ask you to like and share my videos both on Facebook and YouTube. And I am actually doing a drawing every single week for you, those of you that like, share, and or comment. So this week I wanted to announce the two winners that we've got. We've got Tina Travis this week. Tina, thank you for your comments, liking and sharing. And the other person that we've got is Danette Linville. So Danette, again, thank you so much for liking, sharing, commenting on my videos. I appreciate it so much. And the way that you can get your gifts, in fact, I'll hold it up so you can see. Tina, you are going to be receiving the Remember This Moment, Memories and More card pack. And then Danette, you are receiving a pack of 6x6 Designer Series paper and the adhesive backed hearts and flowers embellishments. To receive your gift, I need you to reach out to me with your contact information, how I can get these in the mail to you. You can send your email, send me an email to aprildaviscreations@gmail.com, or you can message me on Facebook, or you can send me a message through YouTube as well. But reach out to me. I'll hold these through next week, and then if I don't hear from you, your gifts, your prizes will go back into the pool for others. That being said, I do have one unclaimed from Carol Lindley, 672. She was one of last week's winner. One of the winners last week got in touch with me. I was able to get her prize in the mail. Carol, I'm still waiting to hear from you. So if I don't hear from you this week, then your gift will go back into the pool. But I hope I do hear from you because I do appreciate you so much. And I want to share these products with you. All right, what else? First off, did you guys have a nice Mother's Day? My Mother's Day was so nice. It was actually quite relaxing. My husband took me out to breakfast in the morning, and then we went for a really nice walk. And I was able to do a little bit of crafting in the afternoon, and then we went back to my in-laws, my brother-in-law and his wife. They love to entertain, and they had a big barbecue, and so we went over there in the afternoon. My mom lives a couple of hours away, my son lives a couple hours away, and my daughter is an hour away. So I didn't actually see the kids on Mother's Day, but we did connect, so that was really nice. But it was a really nice day, so I hope all of you had a really nice Mother's Day as well. Today I was out walking. One of the things that I enjoy doing during retirement is, especially now that spring is here, kind of see it in the background. The leaves are starting to fill in, and I really feel spring has finally made its way through after all that rain we were getting and everything. But the reason I bring that up is because I am just mesmerized by trees. I don't know if I was a tree in my past life, or I don't know. But do you ever look at a tree and wonder what its story is? Whether it is 100 years old or 200 years old, or a newbie that a bird just happened to drop a seed and that's how that tree ended up being where it's at. I love looking at trees, and we're going to get to this, but today's to-go class is Twisted in Time, and we're going to be working with trees. So I can't wait to share these cards with you. But before I do want to go ahead and talk about a couple of other things with you before we get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my desktop in, and one of the things that I don't talk to you guys about very much, but I'm excited about, and that is paper pumpkin. If you're a paper pumpkin subscriber, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I look forward to receiving this box every single month. There's so much goodness in it. You know, we've got some great kits, but I just love the paper pumpkin. And the paper pumpkin always comes in a cute little box. And then you get your instructions that come with it, and it shows you how to create these cards, these beautiful, beautiful cards. Well, this is the April paper pumpkin, and I'm just going to show you a couple of cards because I have partnered with 3 other demonstrators, and we are actually creating paper pumpkin alternatives. So not only do you get to make the cards that were in your kit, but if you choose to go rogue and make some additional cards, you can use the pieces that come in your kit. And I'm just going to kind of show you a little bit. Look at these envelopes that came with this particular kit. And you've got, you know, various pieces of ephemera that come in your kit. I'm just showing these. These are hugs. But so much fun with these kits. And then, of course, your card bases. Just gorgeous. Anyway, what we've done is we have created alternatives for our paper pumpkins. So each of us have done 3 for a total of 12. And just to kind of show you some of the cards that are coming out in this alternative tutorial. Such fun cards. And like I said, these are in addition to the cards that you could create just following the instructions. The reason I share this with you, and I'm going to bring my computer up here just a quick second. Let me see if I can get it to go live for me because it went into sleep mode. So give me just a second. Come back. Come back. Okay, hold on. Are you going to go live for me? Okay. I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to share this with you. And I wanted to continue to tell you about the tutorial. So this particular image is the paper pumpkin that's coming out in May. So I just got notification today that my paper pumpkin is shipped. So as soon as I get my paper pumpkin, I will be creating the alternatives, as will the other demonstrators that are partnering together. So we're going to have 12 alternative paper pumpkins. This particular paper pumpkin is no longer available. The subscription deadline was May the 10th, which was just a few days ago. But we do have a new paper pumpkin subscription period that just started on May the 11th. This is for June. Now, I tell you this for a number of reasons. If you are a paper pumpkin subscriber under me, you get this tutorial absolutely free. So you've got your kit that you're going to get from Stampin Up that arrives at your front door every month. But then you'll also receive from me an email with the tutorial attached. And it's my way of just saying thank you for being a Paper Pumpkin subscriber with me. So every month you're going to get that. If you are not a Paper Pumpkin subscriber with me and or the others that are creating this tutorial with me, then you can purchase the Paper Pumpkin tutorial for that month, the alternatives for that month, through my online store. So let me show you a couple things. First of all, I wanted to show you, we are called the Creative Quartet. And we go beyond the paper pumpkin box, and we have our various alternative cards. And it is a tutorial, so we've got everything that you need to create that card. Now, if you are not a paper pumpkin subscriber with me and you want to be able to purchase, let me see if I can get back to here. You want to be able to purchase the tutorial, you can go to my website, aprildaviscreations.com, and go to shop. When you go to shop, if you scroll down, there's PDF tutorials. I have PDF tutorials in here for the paper pumpkin alternatives that we just started, and I have tutorials in here for all of my to-go classes as well. So just so that you're aware, there are ways for you to be able to get your hands on these paper pumpkin tutorials. While I'm here in my shop tab, I did want to put a plug in for my retired products. I have a retired product store out here. So if there's a specific set that you're looking for, I've got 22 pages of retired products. And the way that this works is I've got the retired product in bundles, but I also have free product that you can add when you purchase a bundle. Plus I cover all the shipping and tax. So all you do is pay for the retired product. And then if you do buy a bundle, you get another stamp set for free, but it's all explained here. So if you haven't had a chance to go out to April Davis Creations, please do so and check out both my tutorial, let me see back here, my PDF tutorial shop, and then of course my retired product shop. All right, I'm gonna come back here just one more time to let you know that the May to Paper Pumpkin is no longer available. That registration has closed, that subscription period is closed. But the June subscription period has opened and it goes through May 10th. So if you're thinking about Paper Pumpkin, if you're on the fence about Paper Pumpkin, if you want to give it a try, you can subscribe. You can go month to month. You can do it in 3-month periods, 6-month periods, year periods, and you can pass anytime. So for example, if this particular Paper Pumpkin wasn't something that interested you, you could pass this particular one and wait for the next one to come out. This one I think is going to be great for those of you that are Paper Pumpkin subscribers because we're focused on Father's Day, dads, the men in our life. So I can't wait to see the alternatives that come out from this one. But again, I look at this one and I get excited because these flowers are gorgeous, just gorgeous. So anyway, give it a thought. All right, let's move on. Oh, another big thing that I wanted to share with you while I'm here. Stampin' Up! Has a starter kit special. This is an incredible starter kit special. From May 6th through the 31st, new demonstrators can get $165 worth of product for $99. That's basically $66 in free product. And Stampin' Up! Covers the shipping, and you also get a free Paper Pumpkin sampler in it as well. So this is a great way if you've got some bigger priced items on your wish list, like the Stampin' Up! Cut and Emboss, the big Cut and Emboss. This is a great way to get it for the $99. Plus you're getting, additional product as well. And of course, I would love to have you on my Stamp About team. So if you've got any questions, need further information, you can go out to my website again, and there's information out there. I would be happy to answer any questions that you've got. All right, what else do I want to share with you? Let's go back to my desktop, and I want to chat with you about one of my clubs that is open for registration right now, and this is my Crafting Happiness Club. So this is a monthly club that I do. It gets delivered right to your front door every single month, and they're mostly clean and simple cards. I have another card club that's Create Happiness. It's a bi-monthly club. You can check it out on my website, but it is more of a step up. It's more for avid crafters that want that additional challenge in their cards. These cards are clean, simple cards that you're just going to really, really enjoy making. So for this month, for the Crafting Happiness for this month, I am focusing on the new in colors. The new in colors are now available. We've got Cloud Cover, we've got Darling Duckling, we've got Secret Sea, we've got Strawberry Slush, and we have Timid Tiger. And all of the cards are designed to take advantage of these new colors, okay? In your kit, you're gonna get your cardstock to create. You're also going to get the Glass and Gardens embossing folders as part of your kit. You're going to get a bolt of the basic beige ribbon as part of your kit. And then you're also going to get a package of the 2025-2027 in color flat pearls. Because we don't have Designer's Series paper this time, I'm able to add more to the kit so that you've got plenty enough to create. We are going to be focusing on the Impressions of Bloom bundle. So you'll want to have this bundle on hand so that you can create with it. But this is a fun set to work with outside of the Crafting Happiness Club as well. So did want to call your attention to this. I'm going to bring you back up just a second. We're going to starter kit special. Let me go to here. We're going to go to classes and clubs, and down here Crafting Happiness, all the information. Whoop, you're not seeing it. All the information that you need for this Crafting Happiness Club is right here, and you can scroll down and see registrations or subscription period is through May 20th, and then I'll start for next month for June on May 21st. So bringing that to your attention. Let me see if there's anything else I want to bring to your attention before I show you the cards that we are going to be creating. I'm moving stuff out of the way. Let me bring this back up and let me share the cards with you because these cards are so fun. So again, we're using the Twisted in Time stamp set. This set for me was a lot of fun because it made me think more again about how I feel about trees, and how when I look at trees, whether I'm driving down the highway or I'm going for a walk in the woods, I look at these trees and I just think about what they've seen, what they've experienced, it's thought-provoking. So anyway, I was drawn to this Twisted in Time stamp set and bundle. So here are the cards that we're going to be making today. We've got A Sweet Friendship is Good for the Soul, You Make Every Day Special, and then we've got A Sweet Friendship is Good for the Soul. I am actually partnering this with our Timeless Plaid DSP. This is a 6x6 DSP. And what's fun about this is the front, or the A side of the paper, is plaid, but the B side of the paper is checks. So I had a lot of fun, and you'll see as I'm creating today that I took full advantage of this paper. So the cards that I created for my samples are not necessarily utilizing the same paper that I'm creating for the cards that I'm sharing with you today. So some fun paper, and you can actually use this for a number of different things, but I can see this for masculine cards as well. And then I always keep mine in a plastic envelope because I always have little scraps and things, and so it's nice to be able to keep all my scraps together with my DSP, and then as I'm creating, everything is all together. So that's Timeless Plaid. And I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'll pull the other products in as we create. So let's bring this one out first, and I'm going to show you we're using Basic Beige. I've got my DSP, which is different from this DSP, and then I've got a label that I have cut from the Countryside Corners stamp set. Now I have the bundle, but I have to show you these dies. These dies are so much fun, and this is how I got this label. You can make them as big or as little as you want. You can stamp on them, and you can also create, let me show you, you can also create like little frames with them. So I just put the two together and was able to cut a frame. And when I have extras, I just keep them in my stamp set with me. But what I wanted to share with you is the Countryside Corners bundle is last chance. The dies are last chance, and they are on sale. So they normally sold for $28. They are on sale now for $19.60. So it's for while supply lasts, right? But this is something that you can have in your repertoire of your studio at any given time, because you can use these again and again and again. They're not necessarily needed for this particular stamp, which this is a cool stamp too, but I'm focused on the dies. All right, so let me bring this over. So we've got this label, and then I have a little grid or trellis that I cut from the Twisted in Time. Let's see, it's on this side. And then the Twisted in Time also has a fun banner die, so we're utilizing that as well. So I have all of that so that we can start getting this put together. But the first thing I'm going to do is stamp. So let me bring out my, oh, hi Diana. You're on your cell phone, wasn't sure. Yes, you did. Thank you so much. Just in time. I'm just getting started. All right, so let's go ahead and stamp on the label. And what we're going to do is we're going to stamp the tree first. So I've got my little tree trunk here, and I'm going to stamp it in pecan pie. And let me bring in some just scrap paper that I can use. I'm taking notes on it, but we're going to use this scrap paper, and then we're going to go ahead and get this inked up. So let me see. I'm going to take me down. Hold on. Taking me down, bringing this over, and then I'm going to see if I can shrink this just a tiny, tiny bit so I can get more in the picture. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and get this inked up. And I'm going to stamp my tree right about here, off to the left side of my label. So I'm going to get a good connection here. So I have that, and then let's go ahead and clean that up. Whoops. Noise on my glass mat. All right, so let's close this up, and then I wanted to show you, I'm actually going to use these leaves on the tree. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. These are really cool, but I did want to show you in the stamp set, you also have these leaves as well. So you can go with these or you can go with these. I'm going with these today, but lots of options in the stamp set. So let me go ahead. I'm going to do that in Lost Lagoon. So let me go ahead and get that. Get these inked up. Actually, this is a big stamp, so it's easier for me if I take my stamp pad and I turn it over, and then I can get this lined up where I want it to go, probably right about, let's see, I'm going to twist and turn just a little bit. That looks good. So we're going to go here. Make sure I get a good connection. There we go. We've got our leaves on our trees. Isn't that pretty? All right, and then let me clean this one off. And then while we're stamping, I need to stamp my banner. So I'm going to bring the banner in. Oh, got a little bit of water on that. Hopefully it'll dry. Pull my Lost Lagoon out again, and this time we're going to stamp a sweet friendship is good for the soul. So let's go ahead and get this. I'm going to get it centered up. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit so I can see. I think this is about where I want it. There we go. Actually, you know what I did? I stamped it on the wrong side. So I'm going to turn it over. There is a right and a wrong side to your dies when you cut. So we'll just do this one more time. Normally I have to turn it over because I've made a mistake. This time it's because it was on the wrong side. All right, there we go. Got that. Okay, so I'm going to put this off to the side. Now let me clean this one up, and we can actually start to put this card together. This is going to be an easy card to put together. All right, so let me move this stuff out of the way. Throw it over here. I'm going to bring my card base back in, and we're going to go ahead and burnish this. Get my pieces out that I need. So I use my foam folder. I'm going to get this burnished. And then this card is going to be opening this way. So I want to get, I'm going to be utilizing this piece. But before I lay it down, I am going to use some of my basic beige ribbon. That, guys, basic beige ribbon. And I'm going to use my ribbon snips. And I'm going to cut this off. And I'm just going to use my seal. And I want to get this lined up across the center for the most part. So let me just flip this over. And we'll put a little bit of seal right here. If I can get it started. Come on, seal. There we go. There we go. All right, so let me put some here. I'm gonna bring it up a little bit. Okay, so we've got it here, and then I'll double check to make sure I get it even across the back for here. A little bit more seal here. Fold that over. Didn't leave very much room for it, did I? All right, now what I can do is I can adhere this down. And I'm just going to adhere this down with glue. So let's go ahead and get our glue on the back. Okay. Get this centered up. I have to tell you, of course, my adhesive of preference is the glue, the Tombow glue. However, I have been doing a bit of scrapbooking lately, and it's easier for the scrapbooking to use the seal. I'm actually becoming quite a fan of the Stampin' Seal. So I guess I'm a glue person for my cards, and I am a Stampin' Seal person for my scrapbooking. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our banner and we are going to put some dimensionals on the back. Somehow when I was cleaning my stamp, I got water, so I'm going to adjust this just a little bit. And what I want to do is I want to straddle my ribbon, but I got some water here, so I'm going to actually move things up just a little bit so I can kind of help to hide that. I thought I just got a little bit of a drip, but it looks like it got into my ink as well. So no worries. Wasn't planned, but we'll go ahead and clean that up. All right, so let's go ahead and get this centered where we want it. And I think I'm gonna go right about here. That looks good. And now we've got our banner. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my trellis, I'm going to call it a trellis, and I'm going to put it right on the back. So take the Stampin' Seal and get it started. Hello? Why aren't you starting? There we go. Okay. And then what I can do is I can center this on the back where I want it. Get it centered. And then push down. So now this is adhered. So now what I'll do is I'll take my dimensionals again and I'm going to pop my banner up. So we're going to put dimensionals here, and I'm going to put one in the middle just to prevent middle sag. And I'm going to actually place it right here, and that will cover up that drip of water that came from when I was cleaning my stamps. So let's go ahead and get this placed. And I'm not going to center it. I'm just going to kind of haphazardly put it off to the side. I just do want to make sure it's straight. That looks really good. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my neutral adhesive back sequins. And let's go ahead and put a few sequins on here. Let me get my take your pick. And we will use some of these gold sequins. Gold? What or do I want? Bronze? I think I'm going to go with the gold. All right, so we'll put one here. I like to do my sequins in threes, so we're going to do another one here. And this time, I like the idea of going up, so I'm going to come up here with it. Move this stuff out of the way, and we have card number 1 created. How pretty is that? And you can see I used a totally different plaid paper, but they're both pretty. I like them both. All right, let's move on to card number 2. Let me see, where's all my stuff? This is card number 2. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Card number 2. So let's talk about what's in the kit. We've got our crumb cake cardstock. I have a piece of early espresso cardstock. I've got 2 pieces of designer series paper that we're going to utilize. Then I have already die cut my tree. I die cut my tree out of Early Espresso. We are actually going to do the overlay of the tree in crumb cake as well. Then I have my little banner, my little banners made with my staple, Stylish Shapes. These are always right to the right of me because I use these all the time. Anyway, went ahead and die cut that, so we're gonna have to stamp that out. And then I have a piece of wax paper. So, a staple in my craft room at all times, especially when I'm using dies, is I just used wax paper. So we're gonna be using the wax paper, and if you haven't seen me use it before, I'll show you again, but again, it's a staple. I have to have it in my craft room. It makes things so much easier. So before we start doing any of that, let's go ahead and get our stamping done so I don't have to worry about that going forward. So let's go ahead, and I'm gonna bring my little mat in, and the reason that I'm doing that is because I'm using photopolymer stamps, and photopolymer stamps do not have much of a cushion. So I use either my silicone mat, or I use my Stampin' Pierce mat to stamp when I'm utilizing photopolymer stamps. So I'm gonna stamp my sentiment in Early Espresso. So I'm gonna get this lined up so that I can see, and I'm sorry if my head's in the way. I'm going to pull it down just a little bit. I want you to be able to see, but at the same time, stamping on these little labels kind of makes it a little bit hard sometimes to see if you're getting it lined up. But I did pretty darn good. So there we go. We've got our label. Let me clean this stamp off really quickly so I don't get my fingers in it. And then we are going to start to put this card together. So basically, what's happening, I'm going to bring my card base in. Let's go ahead and get it folded and burnished and set it off to the side. Then we're going to create this piece. Now, I'm taking two different designer series papers, and I am going to align them as if they were one, and I'm trying to decide. Let me see. I think I want my, do I want my checks on the top? Okay, we'll do my checks on the top. So let me go ahead and take my glue, and let's get this down. Okay, turn it this way. It's easier for me to get this lined up. And then we'll scooch this around. And then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to butt it up right next to the other piece. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So I'm going to get this butt right up next to it. So for all practical purposes, it looks like it's one piece of cardstock, except for we have this little seam. So what we're going to do with this little seam is we are going to take some of the ribbon, the basic beige ribbon, and I am going to, when I'm doing cards, in order to save on ribbon, I do things in two pieces. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this around, and then I'm going to take another little piece and I'm going to do my little bow or my little knot. Now, if you wanted to, you could take it, wrap it around this way, get it much longer, you know, and tie your little knot. But then you've got ribbon on the back, which is fine. And sometimes you'll see me do that. But for the most part, I like to save it. So I will do it like this. Get out my seal again, which is oh, here it is. So I can get this placed. So we'll get this down, and hopefully I'm going to get this right across the seam. Get it straight, and then we'll do it here. And then I'll turn this over, okay? So now I've got this. Now what I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to, I think this time around, last time I just glued it right to my card base. This time I think what I'm gonna do is I am going to use dimensionals. You know, I have a lot of fun when I'm doing my cards. I do it one way one time. I may change it up a little bit, not a lot. It's still pretty much the same card, but I do change it up periodically just because I like just to see what it looks like if I do something a little bit different. So now what I can do is I can take this, I'm gonna pop it up. So let me get my, actually I think I need, I'm gonna do a few more dimensionals. I would rather be safe than sorry on my dimensionals. And this is, I'm gonna, is that enough? Okay, I think it's good. All right, where's my take your pick? Here we go. Let's go ahead and get these off. But I love dimension anyway. So it looks like everything's flat on this card, and I don't want the card to be completely flat. So let me move this stuff out of the way. I think I need to put a little bit more seal down right here. Take care of that while I'm doing it. Oops. There we go. Okay, we got that. All right, now what I can do is I can bring this in and, you know what? I want this to be centered right. So here we go. I've got to put my glue on the back of my dimensionals so I have a little bit of wiggle room. Because I could just tell side to side, I think I was getting it top to bottom, maybe not so much. So this gives me a little bit of wiggle room. You can do this or not do it. It's up to you, but it just gives me a little bit more comfort because then I don't have to worry about pulling it off. So I'm going to set this down. I think I need to go up just a tad, and that looks good. All right, so we're going to let that dry. I'm going to set this off to the side. I'm going to bring my tree back in, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut out the outline of this tree. So if I bring back my dies, we have a fairly intricate, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but it's pretty intricate, okay? This is where the wax paper comes in handy. So I've got my piece of wax paper here. I'm just gonna trim this off. So let me take this for just a second, and I'll use my snips very quickly. I'm just gonna trim this off, and then I've got this wax paper that I can use for another project. But we've got this, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my die on top of that. So cardstock, wax paper, die. All right, let me bring in my big cut and emboss. I don't really need the big one for this particular one, but I'm gonna be die cutting on the next card as well, and I didn't bring over my mini. So we've got our big, we've got our sandwiches. Do we have our sandwiches? Nope, I need this little plate here. We've got our sandwiches right now. So I'm gonna bring this back in again. Cardstock, wax paper, my die, okay? We'll get this in, and we're gonna crank this through. Let me pull this out, move this out of the way. So look at how easily the die pops out of the paper, and it's clean. It's totally clean. So let me move this out of the way, and now we have our die cut. Let me work this. We've got little pieces here that I want to work around. A little tangled up. Hold on, there we go. Okay, we've got that. And then we've got the wax paper on top. That wax paper just pulls right off. And then, let me see if I have it here with me. There's a couple things you can do, because you can see, first of all, I don't have to worry about it being stuck in my die. My die is totally clean. But I do have some little pieces in here. So there's a couple things you can do. Let me double check. I've got our take your pick comes with an attachment. Let me get the attachment with it. Hold on a second, we're getting there. And it's a little brush. And basically what happens is you screw off the top. Is this the right one? Yeah. Hold on a second, I gotta screw this off. You screw off the top of your take your pick, and you can put the brush on it. Okay, so I'm gonna screw this on. And then what you can do is you can take your die, and now what you're gonna do is you're just going to blend over. Now, what I am seeing, and this is a very delicate piece, it is punching out some of it, but I'm going to, because I don't want to damage my tree, I'm gonna go ahead and use the point on my take your pick, and poke some of this stuff out because it is so delicate. And the tree just wanted to bend underneath the brush, so that's okay. But the brush normally will grab onto this, and you can just brush over it, and you'll capture all of your little pieces on your foam, and then you can take your foam to the bin and clean that off. I'll just move this out of the way. But look how easy that was, and I don't have to be poking out of my die. If you guys have used the intricate pieces before, you know sometimes your cardstock will get caught in the die. You can get it out, it's not a problem, but it's just a little bit more work. So I love using the wax paper because then my intricate piece comes out nice and clean by utilizing the wax paper. So staple in my craft room. All right, let me move this stuff out of the way. I'm going to bring my tree back in. I'm actually going to bring in my silicone mat. Whenever I'm doing any gluing, I glue on my silicone mat because it's so easy to clean up. And there's a couple things you can do. Now, let me see, I've got this as well. A couple things you can do. I could take my glue, I use the precision tip, and I could put little dots here with my precision tip. The other thing I can do, and I'm just double checking to make sure I get all these pieces out of the way. The other thing I can do is I can take my glue and just squirt out a little bit on my silicone mat. I've got a sponge. I have several of these around, and I just cut them up into little bitty pieces. And then what I can do is I can take and I can stipple, if you will, the glue on my piece because it's so intricate. I can go ahead and I can do some stippling of the glue on my tree, and then I can turn it over and we'll just place it. So let me get it lined up where it needs to go. Move things around a little bit. Move this one a little bit over here. I think I've got a little bit of a piece here that I'm going to try to grab. There we go. Get this lined up. And the glue moves so I can get it lined up. But look how easy that was. Now my piece is ready to move or to glue down to the rest of my card. So here we go. We're going to bring this in, and before I put it down, I'm actually, well, let me think. I'm going to put a little knot in here, but I'm trying to decide if I want to do my tree first and then the knot, or if I want to do the knot and then the tree. I think I'm going to do my knot first. That way I can figure out where I want to put my tree. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a piece of ribbon, cut it off. We're going to thread it through here. Probably got more than I really needed. But then I'm just going to tie my little knot right here. Okay. Get that the way that I want it. And then we can go ahead and trim off the ends here. And let's see here. Okay, so we got that. Now what I can do is I can take my tree, and I'm going to just tuck my tree in right about here. And really what I'm going to do with the tree now is I am just going to do some dots. It's big enough that I can get some dots. I'm not going to put them so much in the middle because the middle is where the ribbon is, and I need for it to have just a little bit of give. So I'm just going to put some dots right along the top. It will hold it in place, and it's going to straddle the ribbon. So bring this back up, bring this in right about here, and place it down. Okay, so now we've got our tree. I'm going to take a block and I'm just going to put that on the top for just a second while I get my sentiment ready to go. And we're going to put dimensionals on the back of the sentiment as well. So let me see, the sentiment is going to hang over just a little bit. So I'm not going to worry about putting dimensionals here. I will put dimensionals here and here. Okay. And then we'll bring this back in, take off the backs here. Okay. And then I'm going to put the sentiment right down about, right about here. And then we'll bring our sequins back in, and let's put, let's do the bronze sequins. So I'm going to do one here and one of the little ones here. And then we'll take another little one and we'll put it down here. Okay. Now we have card number 3, or excuse me, card number 2. We're ready for card number 3, but how fun is that and how simple? And I love trees, I really do. Okay, let me move this one off to the side, and I'm gonna look for card number 3. And that is this one. Okay, so here's the kit for this one. We are using Petal Pink cardstock. Then we have designer series paper. You can see in the sample there are 2 designer series papers. We'll have 2. We're using this. Okay, then I've got a piece of basic white. The basic white was embossed with the 3D, the Birchwood 3D embossing folder. So I already got that done ahead of time. So we've got that. Then we have our tree that we're going to stamp and die cut. And then I went ahead and I die cut all the leaves. I won't use all of these. I cut plenty, but you can rest assured that when I was die cutting these, I was using my wax paper. So we've got these all die cut just because I didn't want you guys to have to sit and watch me cut so many. And then of course we've got our banner. So we've got a couple pieces of stamping we need to do. So let me move this stuff off to the side. And we are going to stamp our tree. Like this. And we're going to stamp the tree in Early Espresso, if I can find it. So we've got our tree. Now I got to find my Early Espresso. I know you're here. All right, here we go. So let's go ahead and let's get our tree stamped to start, and then we can do a die cut with it. So let me get this inked up. Okay, and we'll go ahead and get this down. I'm gonna make sure I get it. It doesn't have to be centered. I'm going to be die cutting, but I have a small piece of paper, so I don't know if I didn't make it quite wide enough. It's fine, but I wanted to make sure I got it centered so that I could get my die cut around it. All right, so we've got that, and then I'm going to bring in the Calypso Coral, which is the color of the leaves that we're using. Let me clean this off, and we will stamp our sentiment. And again, we're going to use the same sentiment that we used before with the friendship. So let me move this out of the way. And I'll move this out of the way. And we'll bring our banner in, and I've got my banner right side up. So I'm only going to have to stamp it once. So let's go ahead and get this. Okay, get this centered. I'm going to go right here. There we go. And open this one up, and let's get some die cutting done. All right, so let's see. I need to bring my stamp set back in, and this time we're going to die cut with this tree. And then I think I'm going to also need this die that we're going to utilize. And I'll show you what we're going to do with it in just a second. So let's go ahead and get our tree set up so we can die cut it. And I've got some mint tape that I use just to kind of hold the die in place. So let's get this lined up. I'm going to twist and turn a little bit with this. Okay, I think this is good. So we're going to go right here with this one. Then I'm going to bring in this piece, and I want this to be my front, and this is going to be my back. So I'm going to take this die, and I'm going to line it up right on the edge. And we will get this die cut. Okay, so this one. And this one. just make sure it's gonna hold. Then we'll bring back in the big cut piece. I'm using these stamps out of the way now so that the cat and emboss doesn't knock any more over. So we'll go ahead and get this down. We've got our plates to build our sandwich. My plates are well loved. I've got a little bit of on here from the last one that I was doing. So I'm just scraping that off. I don't know if you guys could see that or not. But it was just leftovers from the last time. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down, and I'm going to go ahead and put this down, and we are going to do these both at the same time because there's room to do that, and we'll crank these through. And that cracking is normal. Nothing to be concerned about. All right, let me move this out of the way. And then I'm going to break these two pieces back in, and we will remove the dies. Okay, so let me get it out of the way. Pop this guy out. So now we've got our tree. Okay, and then we've got this piece that is going to be part of our card front. So let me get this. Okay. What I need to do is I need to take this, and I'm just, not with my ribbon scissors. Nope, nope, nope. Do not want to do that. I'm going to take this and snip it here. Turn this over, and we're just going to snip this again right along the edge. So now we've got this piece, and now what I can do is I can flip this over, and we'll have our frame around that. Fun, right? Okay, so before we do that, let me see, what do I want to do next? We need to put together our tree, but I think I'm going to go ahead and get my frame down first so that I can layer my tree and then layer my leaves. So let's go ahead and get our base taken care of. And then I am actually, let's work on this to start. So here are my leaves, and I'm going to turn these leaves so that they are face up. Some of them are upside down, so I'm turning them so that they're face up so that I can work with them. I'm not going to use all of them. All right, so let's go ahead and put this piece on first because this is the piece that I need to get centered side by side. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna put little blue dots along this. Okay, so we've got our glue dots. Pick this up and I'm going to work it in right about here. So I'm gonna make sure I get this straight on each side. Okay, there we go. Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll take this piece and we're going to glue it down, and we're going to glue it just to the inside. So now we've got a nice little border. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So let me turn it this way, it's just easier. So I'm going to get this to fit in, just like a puzzle. Okay, so now we've got this fit. Now we will take our ribbon again, which I have right here, and I'm going to put the ribbon right along here. So it's going to line up with the end of my designer series paper, so we're covering that up. So let me just snip this off, and we're going to do the exact same thing that we've done before. I'm going to get this lined up, flip it over, take my seal, put this one over, get it down, and then double check to make sure I get this straight. Because I want it to go right along here. Okay, we'll do this one. And flip that over. Okay, so now we have this covered up. I need to do a little bit of adjusting, but then we've got that. Okay, so now what we can do is we can take this piece and we are going to put it down on the card, and we are going to use dimensionals again. So let me find them. They're right here. So I'm going to do the middle sections, and then I'm going to put one on each middle, just because I just like lots of support with when I'm using dimensionals. We're going to pull these off. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. Hi, Mom. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. I'm going to put some glue on the back of here just so that I can adjust if I need to adjust. It gives me that option to adjust. All right, let me get this centered up. And let's see. Do I need to do any adjusting? What I really need to adjust on is my fold. I'm going to pull this off for just a second. My fold is not very good. So we're going to attempt to not get too messy here, because I already have glue here, but it just wasn't straight. All right, is that better? It's better than it was. Better than it was. All right. Okay. All right, let's do this again. Okay, get that centered up. And I can adjust just a little bit because I've got the glue on the back. Perfect. All right, we're gonna let that set for just a second, because now we're gonna work on our leaves on our tree. So I'm gonna bring my tree back in, bring my silicone mat back in, and I'm just gonna start to, there's no rhyme or reason to this, okay? Just however it ends up working for you. I want to get plenty of leaves on my tree. So I'm gonna kind of turn these around this and that way. I didn't think I was gonna use them all. Do I have another one somewhere? I thought I had another big one somewhere. Did I only count one big one? All right, we are going to, let me just double check, make sure I don't have any floating around anywhere. I'm gonna make this work. Oh, looky here. Two more. I knew it. I knew I had more. Okay, so let's get the big ones down first, and then I'm going to fill it in with the smaller ones. So let me just move these off to the side, and my big ones are going to go to the outside edges of this tree. So they're going to go right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some glue, and I'm just going to do little dots. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and add these leaves here. Okay, and then we'll do some dots on the other side. Little glue dots. I suppose if you wanted to, if you didn't want to do the glue dots, you could actually die cut these with adhesive paper on the back, and then you could just peel and stick. I should do that more often. I don't do it enough because I'm busy just playing with my glue. So I should try to do that more often. But I just feel like I have flexibility with my glue. All right, so some more dots there. And I'm going to take this one and I'm going to kind of round out the top of my tree. And then we'll take this one and I'm going to put it towards the bottom over here. So more glue dots. Okay, so let's put this guy down. Put him here. There's going to be a little bit of overlap. And then, whoops. And if you've got glue in your fingers, you will definitely pull it up. So I gotta be careful. Okay, and then let me see, I need to cover in a little bit more of this, so I'm just going to put some glue dots down here, and then I can take these and place them where I need to cover up the rest of my... So I wasn't really planning on using all of them, and I didn't. I spared one. So I'm glad I cut as many as I did. But look, now my tree's all done. If I wanted to, there's like a little bit of a hole right here. Let's just do it since I've got one left over. And I can't really do anything with one. I'm going to put a little glue dot here. And I am going to, let's see, this one doesn't seem like it's sticking very good. Hold on a second. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm going to put this one right here. Okay, and then we'll take one of these and we'll just put it over the top for just a second. All right, so we've got that. So the next thing we need to do is we're going to put our tree down, but before we do that, I can go ahead and I can get my banner down, because my banner is going to go just below this ribbon. Oh, I can't put my banner down yet till I get my tree down. All right, let's get our tree down. All right, I'm just gluing the tree down, but I just want to make sure that that all sticks. All right, so let's turn this over. And this pulls right up off the back. And let's go ahead and get some glue on our trees. So I'm just going to go ahead and do dots on the branches. Okay, and then we will flip this over, and we're going to center our tree right about, oh, you know what, guys? Okay, here's what we're going to do. Oh, that one's not dried yet. Hold on. So, I forgot that I had done this. But look how short my tree is. Look how short that is. That's just not long enough for me. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to take this and we're going to cut it right about there. I'm going to glue this back down again. Hang with me, guys. Okay, I'm going to glue this back down again. I think what I actually did the first time around, I'm gonna have that sit here for just a second so it can dry. But I think I may have cut two bases. We're gonna see if we can do this without the two bases. So I'm gonna take my banner and I'm gonna put my banner right about here. And then I'm gonna take my tree and I'm gonna tuck it in under there. Ha! It's gonna work, right? Okay, all right, so let's get our banner on first. Let's go ahead and get some dimensionals on. If you want a little longer of a tree trunk, then what you could do is cut another, stamp and cut again, and then you would have, whoops, I wanted these towards the top because I'm gonna tuck this in. Well, it might not want me to do that. But what I'm thinking is that we could have cut two trees and then I would have had a longer trunk. But actually, I think this is going to work. I think this is going to work. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this down. So we'll get it centered up where we want it. Okay, and then I've got a little bit of glue on the back of this. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of glue on the back of this, but I'm going to put a little bit more. And I'm just going to tuck this in right under here. And it just looks like my tree trunk has been extended. Ha! Worked, guys. Check it out. I could have brought my tree up a little bit further if I had a longer trunk, but this works out fine too. So let's go ahead and bring in our sequins, and let's go ahead and do some decorating up here. So let's pull this one, and I think we'll do a gold, and then we'll put another gold over here. My fingers are sticky. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put a gold right down here, and we'll do a bronze right down here. Okay. Oh, one last thing to do. Almost forgot, but I didn't. I'm gonna tie my little bow in, and then this part will be done. So let me cut that, and then we're gonna tuck this in right under here. I might need to have a little bit of help here. Get you tucked in so I can pull you through. There we go. Okay, and then we'll tie our little knot, which will be our faux bow. Okay, and then I'm gonna turn these, and we will angle these off here, and angle this one off this way, I think. All right. My fingers are sticky. Now we have card number 3. So fun. So fun. Let's get our sweet friendship to show. Fix our knot a little bit. All right. There we go. All right, let me move this stuff out of the way. Oh, there's another piece. I don't need it though. Okay, so here's card number 3 that we created, our sample card, and then our actual card. Let me get these lined up. What color are you using for the leaves? Diana, this was Calypso Coral for the leaves. Good question. Calypso Coral. And then let's go ahead and bring in card number 2. Actually, I think we did this one. That was the sample. We did this one. Okay. And then card number 1. There you go. Aren't those pretty? I love trees. And you know what? This stamp set is so fun. And I'm looking for it and I can't even find it now. Where is it? All right, just as a reminder, Twisted in Time. You get the stamps for the trees and then a few sentiments. So you've got the trunk and the leaves and then a few sentiments, but you also receive dies for some bordering, framing, if you will. Here's our tree trunk that we can stamp and trim out. A trellis, you've got a banner, and then over here, let me flip this over. You've got more of a tree, so you could stamp your tree out completely and cut it out. And then, of course, that's the detailed trunk, and then you've got lots and lots of pieces for your leaves. So, Twisted in Time. Let me come back and see you guys really quickly and ask you again to just to remind you to please like and share. We've got some winners this week. We've got Tina Travis, that's a winner, and we've got Danette Linville. Both of you guys, please do reach out to me so that I can get your gifts in the mail to you. And then Carol Lindley, I'm still waiting to hear back from you. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. I love that you watch me and comment, and it supports me so much. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Take care. Bye, everyone.